We are assembling the Travel Paris box card. And I have all my pieces laid out here, ready to go. Grab a couple of tools I might need real quick. Okay. So, with this card, and in fact all the travel cards, the back piece is incorporated with one of the elements that looks like it's inside, okay? So the box part of the card is the piece that has just the tab to the right, and you'll see there's two of those. They don't have a tab on the other side. So these are the pieces that make up your box. And we're going to start with these. We're just going to fold it on the score lines and glue them together. If you choose not to glue them together before you start, just make sure you're putting your insert piece. You wouldn't want to put these here because that would be the outside of the card. You want to make sure they are on the inside of the card, okay? So I'm going to glue mine together just to prevent any confusion. And I'm going to use my table to know where to line this up in the center here. This card, when folded, fits a 5x7 envelope. There we go. Now this is going to be the outside of my card. So each one of these has a little film strip, and that's for your little sentiment on the back. I thought that would be cute since it was a card. I mean, a card, a camera. Move these pieces out of the way. And I think I want to do a little bit of inking. I'm going to use this, these color block inks I've had for years, so they're not real juicy ink pads, so I can use them directly on my pieces. And I just kind of start with at the center of the ink pad and brush out just very lightly, just to give it kind of a wispy effect. I would not do this with, say, like these ink pads that I have, because these are new and they have a lot of ink in them. For those I use the dauber, okay? But these, my color box, are pretty old. And they're my favorite, and I can't find them anymore. So you just want to I just kind of eyeballed that, and just, you have a little bit top and bottom. And then, I don't know if this will show up on this one or not. It does a little bit. For the white, I'm not going to use such a dark blue. I'm going to use a light blue. I have a greenish blue. I always try to use the color box because they are my favorite. And I found the light blue that I was looking for. You can see it's hardly putting any ink down there, so I use it so much. And this is just going to glue in the center of the other circle. And then this will glue right in the center of this piece. And then this goes right in here, just like that. There's a border all the way around. So you just want to just eyeball that. Okay. I like to work with my card going to my left-hand side. It's just the way I prefer to work them. So that's why I glue this side together first, so that I'm inserting them to the left. It doesn't matter which side you decide to put together first. And now I'm going to assemble this building, and you'll notice that the arches are not on center, they're just a little bit off, so you want the smaller end to go to the inside. Okay, and I am going to also ink these and change the color just a little bit. Maybe I should have used gray. This is another very old ink pad. I got these at Tuesday Morning. I don't know if any of you have that store. I got a set of like neutral colors there. I really like these too. I like the soft sponges because they don't tend to keep a lot of ink very long, so they're easier to use as without using a dauber. And so these pieces are designed so that you have these accent pieces that it makes it look like those are the ones that are glued on, if that makes sense. So you just kind of fit them in just like this, and there are spaces just like it shows, okay? And that's so that you didn't, I tried to eliminate gluing really small pieces with these. And for the most part, I think I did pretty good accomplishing that. You don't want to use too much glue because you don't want your paper curling up too much, and you just don't need that much. These are small pieces, so just watch your glue. Don't use too much. And this one has the arch that fits right there over that arch, so that you know where it goes. Okay. Kind of looks like one of those viewfinder things. The old-fashioned viewfinder. And this one, it doesn't matter if you want your cutouts to be higher or lower. You just look at it both ways and decide which way you like it. I think I'm going to do mine with them lower. And that just fits right in this gap right here. That's where that goes. There we are. And I think I might just hit the edges of this other piece here with the ink. There. And then that goes right there. Okay. So make sure that you're putting it on the inside of the card. If you're seeing all of this when you're gluing this on, that's wrong, okay? Flip your card over, put it on the inside. But I just put my glue on really lightly. You don't need a whole lot. And you don't want your card buckling. Okay, so there is the box, excuse me, hiccups, that's embarrassing, the box part of the card. So I'm going to slide this under my mat while I work on the next insert. Boom. Now I'm going to pull in the Eiffel Tower. I'm just going to fold these tabs. And I think I want to just ink this a little bit, just give it a even lighter than normal. I just want to make it look a little shadowed. Whoops. I'm just barely touching. And then this one I did decide to make these trim pieces, the ones that you add on. So I'm just going to apply to here, try to get a small bit of glue, and use my pickup tool for the smallest one. If you don't have a pickup tool, you can use any pointed, like a pen. You can use a pen. And what I do when I can't get my hands on this is I put a little bit of glue on the tip of my pen and then wipe it off, because it makes it a little bit sticky. And then you can use it as your pickup tool. But because these pieces are small and hard to hold on to, I am applying my glue to the base and not the piece. And you just need the smallest amount. Whoops. Darn. It's just wanting to, there we go. And this one I can put it on this piece, because it'll need just a little bit more than those others. Okay, just like that. And then glue it into place right here. Not too much glue. And this one I want to have under the mat too, because this is long and skinny, it curled just pulling it off my mat. So I want to give it a little bit of time to flatten more. Okay. slide that right under here. And then we've got the Moulin Rouge. And for this one, I probably need my black. And my black, I just have like an office ink pad, and I use a dauber to apply the ink for this one. And I like to use black on my dark red. I'm just going to glue this together like this. I'm using my fingers as guides for the bottom, the sides. And then for the windmill, I'm going to hit it with a little bit of brown. Try to kind of give it an old look. That's going to go on your windmill. And I think I have circles that are small enough. Foam circles here. I got these off of Amazon. It's like 1,200 foam circles for, I don't remember how much. It wasn't very expensive. Pretty cheap with my foam dots because I can get foam squares at the Dollar Tree. Not for $1 anymore. The Dollar Tree's now $1.25, but that's still a really good price for foam squares. And just glue this on. I probably should have glued it on before I put my windmill on. It would have been easier to line up. Okay. So now before I pull out my pieces, I'm going to work on my flowers a little bit. And again, see if I have a green. I don't know if this green will show up or not. Shows up enough. Just kind of and for my flowers, I'm going to carefully touch the edges with this dark red. I don't want it to get too dark, so I'm just barely touching it. I should have done a couple of them before I turned on the camera, but I'm almost done. It goes pretty quick, especially when you're just really just touching. You don't want to be precise. It really winds up looking better when it's more random. Now, I do want to have my flowers have a little bit of more depth than just be flat. And I just use the palm of my hand. And I have this big stylus, and that's all I do. So you can even do that with a smaller stylus. I used to get out the foam mat, but you don't need it. Your palm of your hand is perfect. It cups right in there and makes a nice little cup for your petals. It tends to not wrinkle the paper for me when I do it. I don't like my paper to wrinkle whenever I use my stylus. Then I'm going to do my leaves the opposite way. These are bigger, so they are wrinkling just a little, but that's okay. There we are. So now let's pull out the other pieces. We have our Eiffel Tower and our card base. So this big leafy section goes here on the card base. And I'm going to use some foam squares to adhere that. And this is the roll that I get from the Dollar Tree. Oops, just need one. And I'm going to need to cut it. Glue that down. Okay, the other leaf bunch goes up there on the top of this one. I'll use my smaller square piece, making sure it's not hanging over because I don't want it to stick. So you don't want your foam square hanging over into nothingness. You want to make sure it's covered. And 3 of the flowers I put on my Eiffel Tower. Move this over. So this one looks like then I did have a little flower right here. Okay. Now, to do your inserts, you want your pieces out flat, and you're just going to bring this in here, lay it in the card, fold it over, and this will glue it to this side. Okay. So I'm going to put glue on the tab. And again, I stand them up so that I know that they're level on the bottom, because otherwise I can't get them straight. And then I make sure that that's stuck down. Now your next one, your tabs are out flat and it goes on top of this one, and it's going to glue right here in its place. So I'm laying that flat right against that, pushing down. Carefully lifting it up so I don't pull it off. And you can maybe kind of see how these tabs are cascading here. So the next thing we do is we're going to put glue on the tabs. And you really want to be careful here not to put on too much, because you don't want it to ooze out and glue the piece in front of it or behind it. And now this side is down flat on your table and this side is coming over, and we're just going to glue those right in place just like that. Just fold it both ways, and then we're going to put glue on this last tab and close it up. And this is the Travel Paris box card. Thank you for joining me.